To all the people who say there is a gay agenda, show me the agenda.
If you feel that way about the LGBTQ plus community, just come out and say it. Don't use coded language. Don't hide behind someone else's topic. Don't hide behind all these other things to make it a little bit more palpable and acceptable. No, just come out and say it.
We were all sneaking and watching things that we weren't supposed to be watching.
BET Uncut.
Okay, I didn't watch. See, I was introduced to BET Uncut outside of the house.
You people that are sitting here saying, I don't see the point of voting, now you're starting to see what happens when you don't. Because we had less voters come out this past time, and guess who won? Because y'all didn't want to vote for a woman. Welcome to the Porch Light Theory, where we have unfiltered conversation, but sometimes it's necessary. Tristan's here. How you doing?
I'm good, bro. What's up?
Hey, I'm blessed. I'm your host, Nick, today, so we'll be delving into quite a few topics, but, you know, we're always here to have the right type of conversation because sometimes they need to be had. Sorry about our having to postpone our episode last week. Some things came up, but we're back in full force, and that's not going to change anything because we going to keep going full force with everything, just like certain other people are going full force with other things, but we'll delve further into that, especially since there's a lot of conversations being had. We created this space, especially within our own medium, just to be able to get certain topics out there just for people to discuss within themselves. And I do love the fact that there are more people. I know, you know, we've seen it on social media where everyone's like, well, they should make podcast equipment more expensive because everyone just seems to have a podcast now. But you know who has exactly. What you gonna do about it? I'm an adult with free will. What you gonna do to me?
I got adult money now, okay?
I got adult money. Hey, I got adult money. I don't need half these figurines.
We have adult money, okay? We have adult money. Hello.
I have a random Bleach Ichigo sword for no reason, just because I saw it. I have
a waterfall rock fountain in my living room because I.
Oh, you 90s fancy.
Yes.
My brother saw a bachelor pad when he was growing up and said, "I'm gonna get that." I'm
definitely copping that. So,
but
before we get into any, what's up, bro?
Oh, you're right. Oh no, wait, you're right. I did forget something. I forgot something super important. I'll let you go ahead and get to it.
Oh, I just wanted to remind people to rate, review, and subscribe because when you do that, it just helps people like you find this podcast, and we want to keep this going. And you know, it's watching this brand take off from the very beginning. It's kind of fun. So help us meet our goals. We want to do bigger and better as we progress with this podcast. So anyway, let's get back to you, bro. What was it that you were going to bring up?
So one of the things that we were, especially since we have our own conversations, you know, there are other people that are having conversations, especially some in-depth ones as well. Michelle Obama's podcast / conversation series has been very intriguing. I've loved the conversations that she's delved into, especially since we viewed her kind of as like a second mother when she was in the office. She always just had that charisma and aura about her that just lended itself to, you know what, I can trust what she has to say. So her and her amazing husband, Barack Obama, they've had a conversation recently, especially about their past experiences and those that have influenced their lives as well. And I think we've somewhat delved into who's influenced us to a certain extent, but I also feel like their conversation was one that a lot of people do need to hear.
I agree, because one conversation that they did have not so long ago was what do boys need nowadays in this generation? And in this case, Barack Obama, former President Barack Obama, he talked about boys needing multiple mentors and multiple male figures that they can look up to. So it's not just your father. And he was saying boys need a diverse friend group. I actually have the video up here.
That's one of the things that I think a lot of times boys need is not just exposure to one guy, One dad. No matter how good the dad is,
He can't be
like
everything.
he can't be everything. And then that boy may need somebody to give the boy some perspective on the dad.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
One of the most valuable things I learned as a guy was I had a gay professor in college at a time when openly
Yes.
gay folks still weren't out of line. Who became one of my favorite professors and was a great guy and would call me out when I started saying stuff that was ignorant. You need that to show empathy and kindness. And by the way,
Yeah.
you need that person
Yeah.
in your friend group so that if you then have a boy who's gay or non-binary or what have you, they have somebody that they can go, okay, I'm not alone in this.
Believe it or not, bro, people took that line. They probably didn't watch the entire podcast, but they took that line right there and they automatically went in the wrong direction and was saying he's pushing a gay agenda. And it's so strange because the answer, what he said was, it was clear. It was concise. There was nothing, there was nothing malice about what he said about what boys need. And I think there's nothing wrong with having a diverse friend group, especially if someone's in the LGBTQ community. And I'm saying this because both of us are two straight men having this conversation. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. We have gay brothers in our respective fraternities.
We have gay people in our family. We have people of different races, ethnic backgrounds, socioeconomic backgrounds, demographics. Uh, I think this goes into that whole thing of people aren't listening to actually hear what the person has to say. They are listening to react to whatever they disagree with at that point. Because I did see a lot of what you just mentioned, and it's also, especially, definitely saddening seeing it coming from our people, and it's also a cultural thing that I feel that we would probably have to go further detail into at a later time, but it is kind of entrenched into our culture to where I don't want to play into the stereotypes of, oh, well, they always say when this happens. And I guess I can't use generalities. There are a lot of times that when the subject of homosexuality, gayness, lesbianism, and things of that nature come into any type of black spaces, a lot of times what we have been taught through religious practices, our familial beliefs, and things of that nature, it automatically puts us on the opposite side of whatever that topic might be. And all he was saying is that, hey, I had a gay professor. Think about that. For the time frame to he would have a gay professor, that means he's 18 and older. He's gone
In
through life to a
college,
certain extent, and he has the ability of free thought and thinking. So that means that, especially when you listen to what he said that gay professor was correcting him and on, holding him accountable on, it should not raise any red flags, because a lot of things I saw that were being said was, well, he's always been trying to push a gay agenda. Maybe he's in the closet. Maybe he doesn't even really like Michelle. Maybe this is him trying to signal out that maybe he's in the closet and gay and all that. And it's like, don't it, or maybe just he's speaking a reality that the more diverse your friend group is, the more willing you are to be empathetic towards those that do not have the same background as you.
I think it's fair to say we want diversity in our movies, in our TV shows. We want diversity and inclusion in our workspaces. There's nothing wrong with having that same mentality in our friend groups and personal spaces. So I'm pretty sure you have a gay family member who's not out yet, but they hear the things you say and it makes them think that's how you feel about them. I have gay family members. Uh, I have gay fraternity brothers. I have gay friends. One of them, and you know him. I'm not gonna say his name out loud, but I remember when he came out to me, being bisexual, and it wasn't this boom, this moment like where I was like, oh my gosh, it was a moment where I was just glad that he told
Yeah,
me, and I
and
appreciated that.
I know
We
exactly what you're talking about, and he never came out to me, but after a certain point, we just had an understanding. It's just like, okay. In my head, I was like, nigga, hurry up. We been on. Don't care.
we
Don't
still
change how we feel
cool.
about you.
Love him to
Like,
this day. We were at IHOP, bro, and I don't know how the conversation started, but but what I do remember is it was me, um, and another fraternity brother who is gay. And so, the one that came out bisexual, he just said to me, "Oh, I'm bi," and I'm like, "Huh?" And I look at the other fraternity brother who is gay, and he like nods his head, like, "Yeah, it's true." And I was like, "Oh, that's good to know."
okay.
And when during my time in broadcast journalism, when I would cover stories that involved the LGBTQ community, and I would share that story with local leaders, they would say, "You know why he did that? He did that to protect himself. He did that to protect you as well, because he doesn't know how you're going to react. So he said that in public, so that way there won't be any type of rift if something were to happen in private."
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, years later we talked about it, and he said, "Oh no, that wasn't the case. He genuinely felt comfortable enough to just let me know, like, hey, I'm bisexual." And I'm I'm glad that he did, because since then I feel like our relationship as brothers have gotten closer, because he can finally be himself, and I'm all for it. And so, you're gonna hear folks try and question our masculinity or sexuality, because because we have gay family members and friends and fraternity brothers. And at the end of the day, I want to see them protected just as much as I want to see black people be protected. So when I say Black Lives Matter, I mean all of them. That includes the gays, the theys, and the non-binaries, and our trans community. I want to make sure they're protected just as much as I want to make sure that my life wants to be protected, because there is no gay agenda. It's a myth. The real agenda that you should be waving your fist at is white supremacy. That's the real person that you should be trying to swing at, not your nephew or your cousin, your brother, sister who's gay. I don't understand that. So when former President Barack Obama says having that gay professor, mind you, who was, he said this was during a time when folks were coming. If you came out, you were a social pariah at that point. Um, it
I mean,
wasn't
let's look
popular
at
to
it.
come out.
Yeah, let's look at it. Barack Obama is, let's see, because if we based upon that, his current age and things of that nature, back then, let's try to gauge when he would have been in college. So he's 63 years old, 1961. 1961 from 18 years from 1961, that is what, 1979? So before even the 80s, yeah, that was not the time for people to just be coming out in a way that would be readily accepted in that regard. So yeah, like you have to think about the fact that he knew that it was an openly gay professor, and he still was like, I'm still gonna make sure I call out and hold you accountable and still live my truth, which everyone should be able to do. I don't believe that, especially now I'm going into history.
Go
If
ahead.
America was founded on the idea of being a melting pot and especially getting away from the religious persecution that we had under the old regime, especially that's why they wanted to escape to America, because they felt that the religious persecution did not allow for the freedoms that they wanted. If that's the case, then why do we hold the American citizens to the idea that you have to be beholden to Christian ideologies, Christian ways of
One
thinking?
one word: assimilation.
Exactly, but also I can't just say that because there's also other religions that may not be as harsh in their application of it, but when it comes to the persecution and the idea of dealing with those in the homosexual and LGBTQ community, they are quite harsh. I'm not just saying that to because I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, how can you be a Christian and you're bashing? It's like, no, you can hold ourselves accountable, but also there are other religions that also, you know, kind of go along in that same manner. But at the same time, I do feel that
Yeah,
America
if it's
became
taken
kind
to an
of,
extreme.
yeah, we became super hypocritical in the fact that our founding fathers were slave owners. So I'll always say that. They wanted to create this, free and open place, but we don't allow that because if you're basically not aligning with the Judeo-Christian values, then we don't think that you are a good person.
White evangelical Christian, mind you.
White, straight evangelical Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
So
not gay no more. I am
I'm
delivered.
delivered.
Oh.
So I can't stand it when people say that there is a gay agenda as if it's Project 2025. So to all the people who say there is a gay agenda, show me the agenda, because there is an actual agenda that's happening right now that's impacting all of us, and we've tried to tell people months in
Let's sit on that
advance,
topic. Let's
days in
sit on that
advance,
topic a
weeks.
little bit.
Yeah,
Let's sit on that topic a little bit. What
Pause.
is the gay pause? What is a gay agenda? What is a gay agenda? Like, please, I need someone to tell me what is a gay agenda. Because I remember, especially, I'm always going to go back to it. I hate Facebook with a passion, just because I stay off of it because all the conversations kill me on it because especially those that believe, especially now we're in the age of AI where they believe anything and everything they see. But especially in the I want to say early 2010s, when there were conversations a lot surrounding about when the LGBT, before it became LGBTQ plus and all that, when that movement really started, there was a lot of pushback and people just refusing to understand, yes, homosexuality encompasses being a lesbian, being queer, being bi, being gay, being trans. It takes nuance, it takes understanding, and some people just don't want to understand that. And then going into, just previously bringing up, getting on those social media sites and hearing these conversations where they're just basically saying, "Oh, well, you're trying to push this gay agenda." I'm like, do you think seeing a penis is going to make you gay? I've been straight my whole life. I've been
we
in
know
locker
what you like. Come
rooms.
on, man, stop playing.
We've seen videos. We've seen everything. We know the entire anatomy of both sexes. I ain't never seen two men kissing and be like, "Yep, I'm gay now."
I like that.
Like and that's what. All right, we're not scientists, and that's why I've always been more on the mindset of you're born that way. I can't just wake up and be like, you know what? About to go bust down on a dude today. Yeah, that's just not in me. It's not my attraction. It's not how I'm wired, and that is okay. And yes, granted, I said that with the scientific tip as a kind of a way to introduce it, but also to another certain extent, how you're brought up, what you are brought up around, also has a huge influence on that. I have family members that did not feel comfortable coming out until like recently, but I've been sitting here since I was born. I was like, I knew that family member wasn't straight, but if they didn't feel comfortable saying anything, my parents are like, oh, they'll come out when they come out. It doesn't change anything. When they came out, we treated them the same. When they weren't out, we treated them the same. It should not. Your love for someone should not be predicated on if they align with what you view as a good person. Because who are you to judge who is a good person and who is not?
I'll go even further, because if you're saying that there is a gay agenda, then you've tapped into a conspiracy. And we've talked about conspiracies before. So if you're saying it's a gay agenda, I'm going to go ahead and say it. You're denying reality. We know Project 2025, it was created by the Heritage Foundation. We know that they are a super Republican think tank. They are trying to dismantle society as is. It's happening right in front of us. Funding for NPR and PBS has been cut. So your kids aren't going to be watching Arthur or Sesame Street anytime soon. But you're worried about your son or your daughter having a gay friend? You're worried about your cousin or your stud auntie, being around your family members. So I'm gonna go ahead and say this. If you say it's an agenda, you've tapped into a conspiracy. If you say that you don't rock with the LGBTQ community because for spiritual reasons, then you're reluctant to be outwardly homophobic. Just go ahead and just go ahead and just say you're homophobic. Just say that. I would say it's easier to just go ahead and nip that in the bud.
Mm-hmm.
You need to ask yourself why you have strong vitriol towards a community of people who just want to exist the same way that you and I do.
And I think that's the big thing. What are you okay with dealing with on a day-to-day basis? And that says a lot more about you than it does the other person. Because put it like this, you and I, we have a set schedule each day we wake up. We have a finite amount of energy and a finite amount of things that we can give a damn about. If you are choosing to go out of your way to say, someone who is not in my household or pays my bills, what they do in their bedroom, what they do in their extracurricular time is such an affront to me that I feel emboldened to have to outwardly speak against it. That says more about you than what they are doing. Because I promise you, I do not have the energy to care about what someone else is doing on a day-to-day basis. Life is too hectic for that. So I think it goes back to what you're saying, is the fact that you obviously have something that you are holding in that it goes back to our RG3 conversation. People utilizing narratives and topics to get off of how they truly feel instead of just coming out and saying it. If you feel that way about the LGBTQ plus community, just come out and say it. Don't use coded language. Don't hide behind someone else's topic. Don't hide behind all these other things to make it a little bit more palpable and acceptable. No, just come out and say it. Just come out and say it. I will appreciate living in the South for the simple fact that, yes, it is not perfect, but at least the people that don't like me will let you know.
Facts.
At least be on Front Street with it.
Facts. One point that you did bring up that I appreciate is when you said, I'm wired this way. I don't look at a man and say, oh, I'm gonna get his number. I'm gonna see what he's like, or I'm sexually attracted to him. That's never the case. I look at a woman and I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely a straight man. So, and you've probably heard older people say this when they say stuff like, I don't support that lifestyle.
I hate that.
I'm pretty sure you've heard that term before. And I would challenge the older community listening to this to say I wouldn't go about saying that way, because saying that it's a lifestyle implies that it was a choice. And that's never been the case. My fraternity brother, he didn't choose to be bisexual. That's just what he is. My gay fraternity brother, he didn't choose to be gay. That's just what he is.
And you can't ask him to just sit there and be like, well, live against what your truth is. No, you can't do that. I know this, especially because you were speaking about the older generation. They would be livid. This is me having an open moment. My DMs are not full, but there are 2 or 3 that I would say, and it's funny because one of my fraternity brothers, he was in the group chat because now he done been posting all these pictures of himself. So it's a bunch of gay men that are reaching out to him and he's straight. That shit is funny to me. But it's there are gay men that engage with certain parts of my stories where they'll swipe up and be like, hard eyes. Dude. I'm like, oh, just like it and go away,
bro.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I know I'm straight. So them doing that, yes, I know some people would perceive it as, am I doing something to make people think? I'm like, no, it's just genuine human interaction.
It's not an attack.
It really isn't. So let's put it like this. If there was a woman that you were attracted to, that you weren't attracted to, that swiped up on a picture you posted and put the hard eyes, what are you going to do? Oh, thank you. Cool, whatever. You just You just go through. You just accept the interaction. Like, and I'm saying this from the macho machismo perspective, but I don't care. Like, people are people at the end of the day, and you have to afford them the same amount of runway to be comfortable in their day-to-day lives that you are afforded. And I think
I like that.
also, especially as black men, we don't really understand that when it comes to being a minority, we kind of have it better than a lot of other minorities. If you are a straight Christian black male, you
You up.
honestly, you don't have it as bad as us. Because let's add on some other caveats. Black, non-Christian, ooh, you're not gonna have
That's
it that
rough.
good. Not straight, ooh, you really not gonna
That's
have it
rough.
good. Not part of the
No,
community, oh, you really
n-
gonna have it rough. Like,
no 2-parent household. Woo.
there's so
You
many
got
other
it rough.
caveats. So if you're in the, I will even say, if you're in the place of privilege that you and I are, that are straight Christian black males, we have to be the voices that say it's not right that others don't get to live their truth like we get to. Because it's more acceptable for me to be a Christian male in America. It is more acceptable for me to be a male in America. It is more acceptable for me to be black in America, but I have to have those two caveats for me to be at a certain level as an American in a black in as a black American. And that's also, I feel like, another reason why a lot of the older generation that's been in the closet for so long maintains that, because they know that it especially with their peers, that interaction shift the second they come out, because that old generation's thinking, they know that it completely changes their life at that point. And there's a lot of people that haven't came out, even though it's more acceptable now, due to that.
This could go into a conversation about how we define masculinity as well
Mm.
because of this, because of this vitriol, this animosity towards a community that just wants to exist.
Hmm.
You might have to self-reflect on your idea of what is masculine. What is a definition of being a man? Because I guarantee you there are, if we want to just go that route, there are masculine gay men that they pump iron. They pump iron and they carry iron. You
No,
know what I'm saying?
bro, I know, I agree. There's this one on Instagram, Daddy DeMarco. One of the most macho alpha males you will meet, but he will talk to you in a way that you're like, am I a bitch?
Am I?
Look up Daddy DeMarco in his
I'm
street
looking him up right
interviews.
now.
Oh my goodness. That man is intimidating. But yes, cause, all right, this is me being open.
Mm-hmm.
One of my
This
favorite
is a safe space.
pastime.
This
One of my favorite pastimes when I'm just chilling and I need something playing in the background, I listen to prison stories.
prison stories.
Yes, I don't
Speak
know
to me, oh
why.
toothless one.
Prison stories intrigue me. Like the dudes that come out and they talk about their time in there, especially when you learn about different things. And when you hear about a lot of it, it is that machismo and all that. And then they go into this whole thing about, well, I'm only doing this because I'm in here type community. And it's like, I feel like that culture came from that older generation that was not allowed to be out, but a lot of them did want to explore. I honestly feel like the current, I don't know what the current statistics are right now, but the reported amount of those that identify as bi in the country, I feel like that number would be higher if if the social norms were lessened, I would say, or loosened up a bit, for a simple fact that there are a lot of men that you could tell they want to go explore, but they just can't. So it turns into
ADL.
animosity.
Yeah.
It turns into animosity. It turns into hate. It turns into violent acts to a certain extent because they're not able to address what lies deep within them. I'm someone that doesn't believe that, oh, I don't have, I was about to go real candid on that. I mean, I was about to go real open.
You can if you want to.
I ain't gotta kiss a man or suck a dick to know that that's what I want. I don't want to do.
Facts.
But there are some people that may. So give them that runway. Give
When
them
you
that runway.
said when you said that hate can turn into violence, are you talking about self-hate because they don't have that opportunity to be themselves, and so that kind of metastasizes into something where they're taking it out on other gay people in the community, because we've seen it time and time again where there are folks who are, you believe that they're straight men, but the policies that they support, or maybe the laws that they enact, are harmful towards gay people. And now, when the cat's out of the bag, hey, I'm gay as well. It's like, but why did you do X, Y, and Z to your own community? That's probably the same way that's probably how us black folks look at black Republicans. Like, why would you do that to us?
Think about how many congressmen have been caught in scandals where they were with another man. And then when you go look at the policies that they supported, that it's the antithesis to the lifestyle that they wish that they could live. It basically comes out in those instances. Like, how much you want to bet if we could just have like a complete transparent session? Those that have pushed the hardest for anti-LGBTQ plus policies probably have some lingering feelings in the closet, or are doing things outside of our view that would align with it, but they have to feed their base. And it goes back to the whole idea right now that I think right-wing ideology is tied up in just getting as much money out of their base as opposed to promoting anything that's actually useful. And I say that as someone that's also aware, but I'm a progressive, not a liberal by any means. Mm-hmm. I do see that the Democratic side does have some issues with that. While I would say we, because it's easier to do as a collective, are more accepting for sure. But there are parts of it, because I don't like legacy Democrats to a certain extent. And I do see that both sides do have their issues with it. But definitely on that right wing side, they got some people in that closet. They really need to come out.
It's a grift on the right side. It's a grift.
Sadly, it is. And to kind of tie it back to what we were originally talking about when it comes to President Obama, it feels so good to say President Obama. That's back when we had normalcy. I saw this video of Obama going in because Michelle wasn't there for, who was the president that recently passed?
Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, at Jimmy Carter's funeral, George Bush and his wife were there. I don't think Michelle was able to attend, but Obama was by himself. I would even take George W. right now.
He was bad. Bad.
He as bad as he wasn't worse than Trump. And that takes a lot. Do you see what he put do you see the recession we went into after Bush that Obama had to pull us out of? I would still take that over what we have right now. Because at least there was decorum. There was actual policy. There was actual respect between the two sides. Like, things could actually...
we can remember,
But from what I can remember, yes, because my parents were always on the news. I remember always having to listen to the politics on the radio, going to school, on the way from school, when we get back home. It was always I remember that, and that's, I'll go into this on a later point, because I hate sports topics where they act like they don't remember what we were actually saying, especially, shout out to Kobe, I got the crazy eights in the background, especially around the Kobe talk. There's been some discourse around Kobe that I think people need to remember. Y'all didn't love him like y'all did posthumous Kobe. So let's stop this fake stuff, because all these new Kobe fans that pissing me off talking about, well, he's actually top 5. None of y'all was saying that back then, because y'all don't remember what they were talking about. They weren't. I'm sorry, I'm going into a Kobe tangent.
No.
But I say all that to say that we need to go back to normalcy with our actual political figures and actually get back to a point to where we can be respectable outside of this country.
Before we dive into the next topic, one thing I do want to bring up when it comes to, having empathy towards others, having a diverse friend group, and just making sure that our LGBTQI plus friends and family are protected. This whole idea within our community, the Black community, where they say that homosexuality is, they link homosexuality to eugenics, and I never really understood that. I never understood that.
I don't see that. I can't tie that. But
granted, they link it to eugenics, where it's like,
granted, I have
you're pushing more black people, more black men to be gay, almost as if that's going to wipe out our population. We're talking about a percent.
I don't see that correlation.
Population, and
I don't see that correlation at all.
It's far fetched. I
Because
never
yeah,
really
that
liked that idea.
to try to link it to eugenics is to go deeper into a conspiracy that we
Hello?
kind of just addressed with the whole idea of there being a gay agenda. I I don't have the granted I have a 1 to 2 course college level knowledge of eugenics. Just because it wasn't something that I studied to the extent outside of the classics in the classes in which we, of course, mentioned it and things of that nature. But outside of that, I have a hard time trying to tie a current perceived media push for black men to be flooded with the idea and the visuals of being gay to further push them towards homosexuality to limit the amount of black children that can be populated when you have so many other factors that push black men into having children. That makes absolute like I as disjointed as that whole me explaining that is, that's me trying to
Hmm.
connect homosexuality in the current media aspect to eugenics, and that it makes no sense. And that's why whenever people talking about a gay agenda, I'm like, show me. It makes no sense.
Pull it
If
up.
someone can show you a picture of a gay couple and you think that makes you feel gay, that just means that you have repressed feelings that you have yet to address, and you need to explore that on your own. I can see that today, right now. I got gay neighbors. I see them. I hear it. And you think that has me sitting here like, oh yeah, let me get in on that. Like, okay, I don't care.
I
Like, what are
hear
we
it.
doing? Like, what are we doing? Them boys being there sound like they bench pressing 450.
They do a crossbody fit in the bedroom, my guy. The link to homosexuality in eugenics, it's far fetched because if you want, and this is where I'm going to sound like a conspiracy theorist. Now, if you're going to say anything that is linking eugenics to our community is what these laws and these corporations are doing. For example, XAI, Elon Musk, his company is literally polluting the Memphis community. And yeah, you can say they're bringing jobs into Memphis and whatnot, but at what cost? Because the pollution levels are so high in Memphis that folks are dying, and there's actual proof of it that's in your face. If you want to go that route of eugenics, I'm not trying
What's
to sound like
even
a conspiracy theorist, but like that is evident proof that's happening in front of you. I live in Jacksonville, right?
Mhm.
And um where Ahmaud Arbery was shot and killed
Mhm.
is like an hour away from me, Brunswick, Georgia. You talk to the residents over in Brunswick, Georgia, and they'll tell you how um they don't trust the soil because of certain plants and companies that are doing work there. They don't like the air quality. Or there was a recent oil spill in a river, and folks are questioning the water quality. Like people in Brunswick, Georgia, they are skeptic about the qualities of life there. If you want to go that eugenics route, then you have actual proof that you can go to, rather than Randy, who so happens to be gay. So no, he's not trying to recruit your best friend to to be part of the homosexual elite.
And
That's not happening. When I hate to sound like a conspiracy theorist because I'm not trying to be.
and let's be honest, it's easier to find a correlation between the black community, our community, and how we view homosexuality. It's closer tied to religion than it is eugenics.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, both of us grew up in the church. Both of us have, both of us are faith based. Both of us are people that still actively practice our faith. But by no means do I practice my faith in a blanket way that doesn't allow me to understand empathy. That does not allow us to understand accountability, but also to understand that there's nuance within the teachings that are in the Bible, but also how to properly apply them. One of the reasons why I will always tell people that if you have the opportunity, further your education, because it's not just the obtaining of knowledge, but it's also the understanding the application of that knowledge and how to critically use it. One of the reasons why I don't really get into sports debates anymore is because a lot of people use statistics, but apply them in terrible ways just to make their argument. And I think it's the same way when it comes to religion. They utilize the word and weaponize it to be able to push the agenda for what they feel the world should look like and how others should act within that same realm. And I believe that that is the antithesis to what the Lord wants us to be able to actually practice and preach.
Yeah, my religion, my Christian religion, I feel like as as an adult nowadays, encourages me to be accepting rather than tolerant of others
That's
and be
the
more
big thing.
welcoming of people. Like,
Brother, talk on that. Talk on that. What's the difference between being accepting and tolerant?
I think here's an analogy that's fair. Tolerant is I'll allow you to I'll allow you to be in my presence. Acceptance is I'm gonna welcome you to my home. Like I'm not gonna tolerance is I'm not gonna throw a fit because you're near me. But acceptance is I will call you friend. I will call you family. You know,
Yeah,
I think that's a fair analogy.
and it kills me whenever we talked about it. I hate when they say that whole thing of correct me if I'm wrong, the whole thing of, well, I don't like it, but I don't approve it, I don't support it, or that whole mantra behind I don't support it, but it is what it's like. Who are you? Like,
Stay out of their bedroom. Why is
who
that
are
the
you
first
to
thing
have
you
to?
think when you see a gay person? You automatically think sex or what they do in the bedroom.
Because that's what they want.
I'm so glad that we have a diverse friend group. A former President Barack Obama has a point. Like, do you know a gay person? Do you know a trans person? Get to know one. Be friends with one of them. I know at least two or three trans people. I'm not trying to pull the I have black friends card.
I was about to say
But
you walking a thin line there, brother.
yeah, I'm not trying to do that. But to say that I know someone and that I'm comfortable to ask them questions, or to say, hey, like, is this wrong of me thinking this way, or what are your thoughts about this? Like, and they're comfortable enough to have that conversation, to have that nuance, topic with me on whatever said subject.
Hmm.
That's a wonderful thing. When when I used to work in journalism, when Governor Ron DeSantis, when he was on his big one with that "Don't Say Gay" bill and other things. I mean, I would reach out to the LGBTQ community and find that human aspect of storytelling and showcase to the viewers, like, hey, this is what laws and policy, this is who it impacts. It impacts your
Hmm.
neighbor. It impacts people in your community, in your Florida community. You know, they are just as much as a Floridian and U.S. citizen as you are, and that's what's impacting them. So,
And think about that when you go to vote. Think about, especially I say that with those that don't vote. I will say this
mhm.
because we talk to right wingers, like, obviously they're not going to listen to us. They're not going to watch our content because I saw on TikTok someone got on there and had a comment about, well, it's like that on the other side. So it's like, whatever, bro. Don't think you're going to come in here and get us to trigger. Like, it ain't going to happen.
You said
But
it best. I'm not gonna argue with people who can't, hold on to facts.
exactly. So a lot of times, I won't say this, like I said, it's not to right wingers or anything by that means. For those that feel like their vote doesn't count, even if you feel like it doesn't affect you, think about those that it affects. Think about I say that because, like I said, we have diverse friend groups. Think about your Asian friends. Think about your Hispanic friends. Think about your
Hmm.
friends that are in the minority. Think about those that are not represented at a high level. Think about your friends that have religious views that they were trying to do. Like, I was a huge ally for my friends that are Muslim when Trump did the Muslim ban. I call it that, but we know exactly what he was doing. He banned any country that are majority Muslim from traveling into the U.S. I was a big proponent of, hey, no, that's not right, because this is a specified, targeted attack towards a specific people or group. So
Mm-hmm.
I would not vote for someone that is obviously attacking those that I care about. And yeah, it doesn't. And we talked about this in our first two episodes. To the extent to which everything that's happened in these last 6, 7 months, yes, we could be silent because, yeah, to the extent that it'll affect us, it'll be marginal, a very, very small marginal effect. But we know it affects others more than it affects us. So we have to make sure that our vote aligns with not just what we want, but how make sure it works best for others. And I think a lot of people lose that whenever they become selfish within what they feel is right.
I'll end it with this question right here, this rhetorical question. If your friend base is not diverse, who's gonna check you?
Friend group an echo chamber, or is this or is it a place to where if you're in the wrong, they're gonna call you out?
Exactly, exactly. Who's gonna check you when you're wrong? So get you an atheist friend, get you a
Yeah.
Catholic friend, get you a friend who's black, get you a friend who's Asian. Mix your friend, like diverse yourself. Otherwise, what Nick just said, you're putting yourself in an echo chamber, essentially.
And that's what Facebook is. That's why I don't like it.
Facebook is definitely an echo chamber. Here's another. I'll tell you what else is in the echo chamber that's going to impact all of us is this Texas redistricting, bro, because this it's getting out of hand. The Republican echo chamber in Texas is getting so bad because now uh, President Trump wants to he wants to gerrymander the hell out of Texas so that way he can gain 5 seats and keep control of the House. My friend, if that's not authoritarianism at its finest, then I don't know what is. Can we just go ahead and admit it? Like just say it out loud. It's cheating. It's like blatant cheating that's happening in front of us, and the ref is not doing it, and no referees are doing it, and there are no checks and balances. Absolutely none
And
whatsoever.
as a current Texas resident, I just have to say it. Our politicians are cowards. They are licking the boots of someone that once they leave office will have nothing to do with them. Like, do you think Trump is going to care after 2028? Do you think Trump is going to have anything to do with Texas? No, he's going to go sit off and collect his millions, and then we will have done all this for what? For what?
Change the entire trajectory just to hold on to power.
And what's crazy is he had they just love the uneducated so much, and they're keeping Americans so uneducated. I'm not sitting here saying that you have to have a college degree. It took me over a decade to get my college degree once I graduated college. By no means do I sit here and think that that piece of paper solidifies me as an intellectual. By no means. But
It does show that
one
you
thing
worked
it
your ass off, though.
true. But one thing it does show is that we were able to go into a place to where if we needed to pass, we needed to justify and research and utilize research and vet. I say all this just to say they want to keep y'all uneducated because they don't want you to have the tools and resources to call them out on their mess. The fact that there were so many that got upset over the fact that he didn't release the Epstein files, but over a week they're like, well, it makes sense. It shows that they are taking advantage of your lack of logic.
Talk to him.
It's frustrating for some fact that I can say all this and I know it's not going to matter because at the end of the day, they don't have the capacity to really understand that they're getting played because because their narrative and their rhetoric satiates their need to be hateful towards those that they don't identify with. It allows them to get that hate out and put it towards the illegals, put it towards minorities. Like it's just such a cacophony of different things that leads to where we currently are, especially in Texas. And guess what? They're going to still lean on the cities, the major cities, the blue cities that subsidize them and do all that. They're going to still rely on them, but they want to gerrymander it to the point to where, oh, we want to live our great lives in these rural towns, but we also want to keep it cheap and do all this. Well, how do you think you keep it cheap? Do you think East Texas exists right now if Dallas and Houston wasn't helping?
You want to get rid of property taxes, but that's what help fund your schools.
You don't like big businesses coming in and taking up stuff. We went to school in East Texas. Let Walmart and Target, Dollar General, Dollar Tree all lose those subsidies for that keeping them there. Let them all go. Let's see if y'all have fun getting y'all groceries from the Piggly Wiggly.
Every time you bring up the Piggly Wiggly. If Nacogdoches didn't have a Walmart, like let's be real. If Nacogdoches didn't have Fuzzies.
Y'all lost Fuddruckers.
And Fuddruckers is good.
Y'all lost Fuddruckers. Y'all lost
That's
lost
a classic
Hastings.
burger joint.
East
We
Texas
are
has
losing
lost
the recipes, y'all.
East Texas has lost so many good businesses, but they're like, well, we don't need them anyway. That's like, all right. So let's see, because I wonder, all that land out there, how come Amazon hasn't built a warehouse out there? All that land out there, all these companies that could utilize all that land, but they keep coming to the big cities to expand. Why is that?
Why is Tyler, Texas trying to be part of the big four?
Oh wow!
Let's make it make sense. Dallas, Houston, Austin, San Antonio. That's the big four. Tyler, Texas wants to be the fifth. I've reported on this years ago.
They got the potential. The people that live there ain't gonna like it.
No, they don't. But they want to keep they want to keep that young population in Tyler because they know it makes the money.
Let SFA leave Nacogdoches.
I'm gonna share the screen real quick while we're still talking about this redistricting stuff right here. Here we go. This is from NPR. Since y'all want to
RIP
fund it. RIP NPR while it's still here. So Republicans in the Texas House of Representatives on Wednesday released a proposed new redistricting map that seeks to fulfill President Trump's desire to add up to 5 additional Republican congressional seats in the state. The shuffling of voters into new districts in Texas and elsewhere could play a key role in determining which party controls the U.S. House after next year's midterms. Currently, Republicans have a 7-seat advantage in the chamber with 4 vacancies, and the president's party typically loses ground in midterm elections. Earlier this month, Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott, a Trump ally, added redistricting to the agenda for a special legislative session, citing concerns raised by Trump's Department of Justice that 4 existing Democratic-leaning districts are unconstitutional. But Republicans have also been explicit that they intend to undertake rare mid-decade redistricting for partisan aims, with the Republican Party of Texas saying that the effort is, quote, an essential step to preserving GOP control in Congress and advancing Trump's agenda. Trump himself said a very simple redrawing would pick up 5 seats in Texas. Republicans are also eyeing additional pickups in states including Ohio and Missouri. I'm going to stop reading the article there, but if y'all don't find that problematic, y'all need to do something. Y'all worried about the gay agenda when the real agenda is literally about to get gerrymandered the hell out of Texas. And if Texas moves forward with this, it's going to be that's going to give elected officials like Governor Gavin Newsom of California to gerrymander the hell out of California.
And they also need to they got to pay attention to the political map as well. And also, I don't think people understand what Texas is doing. Yeah, Texas is great because of the amount of seats that we have in Texas. Do they not understand how many seats these other big blue states have? And if they decided to go ahead and do what Texas is trying to do, it can get real ugly. And I'm not sitting here saying that as like a confident person that the side that we would support would win. It would just completely shift the dynamic that we have in our country. Y'all want to maintain a level of normalcy. And that's one of the reasons why I do have faith that this gerrymandering may not be to the extent that we think that it might be, for the simple fact that majority of people love the status quo. They love the fact that they can go to the movies. They can go to the mall with their kids. They love the fact that they can go to work, come back home and watch a movie on Netflix and do all these other things. They don't want to shake up the current structure of America too much. They just want to make sure that we can continue to afford to do the things that we currently do. And I think what Texas is trying to do would shift that so much that people, once they get hip to it, are going to be like, all right, calm down, calm down. Y'all bootlicking going way too far now, because Abbott doing all this to appease Trump. Do you think Trump won't care about him once he leaves office? No. He has shown that multiple times. He doesn't even mess with his old vice president.
Indiana, one of the most conservative places in America. Sheesh.
Like, it's too much of we're cutting our nose off to spite our face just because all I know is these political moves are going to hurt the people I don't like.
It's weakening voices. It's going to impact historic black congressional seats like Al Green.
Mm-hmm. People don't know about that.
That's so disrespectful.
But then
there was a go on, bro. I'm sorry.
But I was gonna say, but then we have to really address what the root factor is, especially within our community, especially since we're the bigger population of the minorities. You people that are sitting here saying, I don't see the point of voting, now you're starting to see what happens when you don't. Because we had less voters come out this past time, and guess who won? Because y'all didn't want to vote for a woman. Just because y'all didn't want to vote for a woman, because y'all have these old callous ideas of how women are. Women need to be in the kitchen and eating salads. Women don't need to be in politics. And if she on her period, she gonna blow up every other country in the world. We can't. Like, so fuck out my face.
I got something for you.
You see, men eat steak, but women eat salad. You see us men go to the gym. We lift weight, but women be in the kitchen.
Like, I don't get it. Like, we'll have to save that for another episode, because I at some point, I think the conversation we had about the LGBTQ plus community and a lot of men being in the closet, a lot of that overly masculine stuff, especially like the Myron Gaines. I don't care. I am an fresh and fit person, and I believe Myron Gaines, whatever his actual name is, since he's a Sudanese American, he's not black, so he doesn't get to say the N-word. I'm sorry.
No,
but he is someone that's definitely in the closet.
He's just as African American as Elon Musk is. Let's be real.
Elon Musk is gonna bring jobs to the community. Myron Gaines don't even have a wife.
That man got alimony. What you talking about? Myron, you ain't even been married, but you call yourself a relationship coach.
Yeah. I'm not taking relationship advice from a man
who's not even married, happily married at that.
And is paying for a girlfriend.
Fuck out of here.
You met your girlfriend on Seeking.com. Seeking arrangements. Come on now.
I'm glad that we're having this conversation about this Texas redistricting, because what Trump is doing is so ridiculous. But you know what? There are some things that help, I feel like, keep hope alive. And one of them is that the recent episode of South Park. that has been the highlight of, these past couple of weeks, seeing that South Park episode. Relax, guy. I'm gonna pull up the video.
Relax, guys.
Mr. President, sir, the Prime Minister of Canada is here to see you.
Mr. President, why are you placing these new tariffs on Canada? What are you, some kind of dictator from the Middle East?
A dictator from the Middle East? Hey, relax, guy. I'm just your average Joe. Take a rest.
The people of Canada will not be devalued like this.
Hey, come on. You don't want me to bomb you like I did Iraq.
I thought you just bombed Iran.
Iraq. What the hell's the difference? Relax, guy.
Another thing I do want to bring up with this South Park episode, this is an article from Forbes. Why is there tension between South Park and Paramount? And it says, quote, the new South Park episode arrives in less than 48 hours after Paramount and the show's creators signed a deal reportedly worth $1.5 billion, under which Parker and Stone's Park County company will produce 50 episodes over 5 years. While the entire series will stream on Paramount Plus, South Park was previously available to stream on HBO Max until the series deal with the streaming service lapsed in June. The deal followed tense negotiations in which Park County's lawyers accused Jeff Shell, a former NBC Universal executive who's set to become Paramount's president if its merger with Skydance completes, of interfering with Park County's negotiations with other potential buyers, including Netflix and Warner Brothers Discovery. Parker and Stone lashed out at Paramount in a statement on X earlier this month after the season 27 premiere was pushed back by 2 weeks. Quote, this merger is a shit show and it's fucking up South Park. And we are at the studio working on new episodes and we hope the fans get to see them somehow, the creator said. So what is included in Trump's settlement with Paramount? The South Park episode appeared to knock both Trump and Paramount, who earlier this month reached a settlement following Trump's lawsuit against the company for allegedly modifying an interview with his former president opponent, former Vice President Kamala Harris. The lawsuit was settled as Paramount seeks approval from Trump's Federal Communications Commission to approve the merger. As part of the $16 million settlement, Trump claimed in a post on Truth Social he will receive $20 million more from the new owners in advertising, PSAs, or similar programming. In the South Park episode, the concluding satirical Trump advertisement is introduced as, quote, pro-Trump PSA 1 of 50. Wow. So these are the little things that help me keep hope alive in this situation, because South Park is not pulling any punches right now. They have Trump sleeping with Satan. They got him groping him under the table in the next episode. They even featured that one clown, Charlie Kirk, who's going to be in the next episode. It's about to go down, bro.
Charlie Kirk pisses me off. I love that he got undressed when he went to Colombia. Was it? No, it wasn't Colombia. It was basically when he went overseas and was debating against I can't remember the name of it. It's not Oxford.
He got smoked by students and professors.
Yeah, he was getting smoked. And the professor was just like, because I hate debate. I hate engaging with right wingers when it comes to political topics, because they've all taken the same class on how to argue. Just basically use certain talking points, and then when those talking points get defeated, then you have to break into fallacies to either pivot away from the current topic because you know that your topic lacks logical reasoning behind it, or I'm just going to gish gallop or just be loud. So that way people think because I'm confident and loud, I'm right, as opposed to you, who is a neutral debater who does not feel the need to, oh my gosh, you mean to tell me? I don't have to do that to get my point across. But if you're uneducated and you use your emotions rather than logic, that resonates more with you. That I call it the Stephen A-ification of a lot of different conversations, because I liken it to Stephen A because in a candid conversation, he revealed the recipe. As long as you're loud and entertaining, people will be in there no matter what you're talking about. And the right wingers took the same playbook. Or he took their playbook and did it. Either way, I have issues with Stephen A, but that's a different topic.
I never really watched South Park like that.
Oh, I'm an avid fan. I'm an avid fat South Park fan. Did you ever watch their big freaking movie?
No. I'll be real with you. I was bubbled a little bit growing up. So like when I saw South Park as a kid, I was so interested. But I guess like when my parents watched it, they were like, "Oh, there's no way our son is going to be watching this. There's no way this is not going to be in the house whatsoever." So like when I would go to school and I would hear my classmates talk about South Park, I'd be so intrigued with these stories and these jokes. And sometimes I feel like I'm catching up. So I'll go watch a few YouTube clips, or if it ever showed up on Comedy Central, then I'll watch a few episodes. But South Park was ultimately banned in my household, so I didn't get to enjoy the comedies that came with it growing up. But I do know that they held no punches. I remember when they called Kanye, or formerly known as Kanye, who now goes by Ye, when they called
I
him a
love
gay
that
fish.
episode. So I will say this. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry, Mom. We did have parental controls on the cable whenever we got it back when we were in high school, middle school, and all that. But because my dad loves comedy, they didn't put it on Comedy Central. So I got to watch the Chappelle Show, South Park, and all that. And thankfully, I got to watch it. It was a weird time. The time when my parents decided to ban South Park was after I had been watching it for quite some time, and it was because it was finally when they removed the word shit from being bleeped out. It was like for one episode, and I just so happened to watch it in the family room, and they're like, "What is this?" Because I love the Chappelle Show, because I remember all those parodies and all that and things of that nature. But yeah, South Park, just because, in case y'all don't know, Tristan and I have known each other since middle school, so we are, of course, very entrenched in each other's families' lives and all that. Yeah, his parents would not have been okay with what early South Park and early Chappelle Show was.
Definitely
They would
would not
not
let
have
you
been
watch
okay
South
with
Park.
that. Sorry, Mama and Daddy. Yeah, I was sneaking and watching it.
It's all good. We were all sneaking and watching things that we weren't supposed to be watching.
BET
growing up.
Uncut.
That okay? I did not watch. I didn't watch. See, I was introduced to BET Uncut outside of the house. If I was like spending the night at another, see, I'm about to start snitching on family members. I ain't gonna be. You know what?
We grown now. What they gonna do? You live in a whole different state. Your mama can't get mad at you.
Yeah. So yeah, I was introduced to BET Uncut under other circumstances like that.
I'm sorry, Miss.
wasn't
I'm
a,
sorry, Miss Hardy. I
priority
did not mean that.
Yeah, that wasn't a priority for me to watch.
Please don't come for me.
It was other family. It wasn't Nick that did it. It was other family members that
It
introduced
was
me to,
not me.
BET
I
Uncut.
promise.
Yeah, Nick is family, but he wasn't. It wasn't him. Definitely
It wasn't
was
me.
not him.
Well, Mr. Hardy, Miss Hardy, do not blame that on me. I promise.
Please don't. 'Cause
I
know-
had we were watching
I know
Red
you're
versus
listening.
Blue together. We weren't watching everything else.
That was the content that I was watching. This is why my family says my humor is dry, because I will watch stuff like Red versus Blue. That's why my jokes don't land all the time.
I still watch Red versus Blue. It's still hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't care.
My jokes don't land all the time because I was watching content like that. That was my humor.
Oh no, they not ready for that newgrounds.com.
Yeah.
I remember because we used to have to use those proxy sites to be able to watch that stuff in the computer lab.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember, you would go watch those videos, and then you'd be
We
like,
were IT
yeah.
specialists growing up in high school and middle school. We were using proxy websites to bypass it, bypass restricted websites so that way we can enjoy what we want.
I won't say his name,
Man,
but you would always
we were
go
coding
watch
back
it
in the day.
I won't say his name, but you will always go watch it in his class. The teacher with the meat rolls.
Are you talking about?
Don't say his full name. He's an adult
Was
now.
he an African science teacher?
Yes. Meat rolls.
I know exactly who you're talking about. Man,
He was and to come to figure out, he's a whole alpha, because we were sitting there like, what is he doing? Turns out he was strolling down there. I was like, oh, I didn't know he was alpha, because he was getting real close to the cheerleaders while he was doing he was strolling, and the cheerleader was like, because he was hitting I'm not going to do it obviously, but he was hitting certain arm movements, and the cheerleader thought she was going to get her head knocked off, and we were just like, oh.
the jokes I cracked on that teacher were so out of pocket. I'm so glad I'm not the person who I am then.
I want y'all to know, Tristan is the mean one of the two of us. I am not. I am blunt. I am not mean. I lied. I'm mean.
I'm not the mean one.
Actually, I am the mean one. Never mind.
I would say mine is more backhand. Yeah. Like you would be blunt with it, but me, I would be more. I would dance around it. It'll be more backhand. Absolutely. Bro, what's going on with Slim Thug?
You're here with this. Slim Thug is a very, very obvious example of when your OGs never get checked. Cause my goodness, brother, she don't know you like that. Y'all had that one or two appearances because she popped out at a Houston event. Shout out Lil Ju, cause you know he a DeSoto graduate and he's her best producer. He's a foundation. You know, y'all been in a lot of Texas situations. I just said that because I like shouting out Ju because he deserves more credit. Because whenever you're Lil Ju made this on a Meg beat, it's him. Give that man his credit.
Live, you know, Lil Ju made it. Yeah,
yes, there we go. That's that man. He even works with 2 Chainz and other artists. Don't just liken him to Meg. That man is that man. Give him his flowers. DeSoto product. But anyway, brother. For one, you got a gap in the middle of your beard, and it shows. That's why you be tying it up like that because it's not really a full beard. That comes from stress. You stressing over things that don't have anything to do with you. You know what ain't got to do with you? Meg ain't got nothing to do with you. So go ahead and leave it alone. Cause this whole the fact that he felt the need to get on live, post a video of him getting on there talking about a woman that has yet to, for all we know, and based upon how thirsty he is this pressed over a woman that he has yet to engage with sexually, engage with on a personal level to the extent that he feels that he should be owed a certain level. I don't even say that. Y'all haven't even engaged in a way to where y'all have a real relationship to the extent that the amount of energy you're putting into it makes sense. Cause I don't get it. Like, bruh, you and we have an infatuation with Rihanna, Tim's, and all that. Yeah, we will joke. Tim's. Like we joke. Shout out to Tim. Hey, Tim's. But we have that infatuation, but we're realistic to the extent of like, damn well, like, oh, when Rihanna ended up with ASAP and got pregnant, it's like, oh, yeah, okay, cool, congratulations.
It is what it is.
Yes, we have an infatuation with her, but by no means do we realistically think that our existence and our love or affinity for them affects their lives. Like the fact that this man sat there is I don't know. I'm just that befuddled by it. Like, bro, you really crashing out behind someone that ain't. This is us being very candid. You ain't even got the box and you sweating it like that. Like, what we doing, bro? Like, come on now. I ain't hitting here. I'm not sitting here saying like I'm Mac Daddy, all that, but I ain't never sweat no box I ain't never had. Like, come on now. Like, come on now. Like, come on, bro. What we doing? See right there, that little thinness in the middle of his beard. Boy is stressing. Yo. As someone with the beard that y'all may not think because of where it is now, that I may not be able to speak on a man with a long beard. I used to have a long beard. It came down to about right here or so. What he's experiencing right there is stress. He's also a man that doesn't have a good skincare routine because he picks at his beard, and also you can tell he's got ingrowns under it. But that's another topic. But for one, he needs to retire that sleeveless he in. But yeah, that man is really over there stressing
Your
woman
beard
that
is throwing up the west side, man. That's crazy.
For one, I've never seen a beard that doesn't connect with your mustache. Like he's got a chin, he's got an elongated chin strap.
That with that beard length with nothing at the top.
Like, bro, you gotta get some filler in here.
It's egregious, man. Like,
and then
one content creator said you gotta wear This one content creator said he gotta wear like a cowboy hat to balance that out.
Yes,
you gotta balance that, man, because you really walking around your own city.
All right, is he a cowboy hat or a kangaroo hat kind of guy?
I think he will rock a cowboy hat, like
he's from
cowboy hat, and like lean into that country Houston, aesthetic. Because
I'm not
this
gonna
right
lie,
here,
bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro. He may be better off with the most deaf kangaroo hat look. The Anthony Hamiltons back in the day.
Stop it. No,
I want y'all to know
this man
Tristan. I want y'all to know Tristan has to really be fed up with me just to be like, all right, I'm not entertaining this. We love each other to death, but there's certain points where he's just tired of my shit.
this guy is he's crashing out.
All right.
Taylor Rooks. I don't even know who that is. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's the one we got sad about.
Glow up. They too young for me. The Stallion would have been good, but I don't know if she got enough live pictures like that.
She's younger than Taylor.
Ruby Rose, that man.
That boy, Clank shot the 3 of them.
Oh, he did.
That nigga come through hit you with
I salute him. I'm happy for him. It's look good.
Boy, can't number Nick.
He did. Salute. What they call Splash Brothers, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they too young. I don't know.
Hold on, man.
That man said she's too young. Talk about Taylor Rooks. Taylor Rooks is 33. Meg is 30. What you talking about?
He does braid that shit. Oh my god!
I told you. Yeah, he knows he has to because he has gaps in that bitch. I know this. I cut my beard down because I had ingrowns, so I'm fully aware. Like I know here, it's thin right here, so I got to be real weary about what I do. He needs to be aware like that.
Slim Thug crashing out over Megan. I'll make this point because you said this is what happens when your OGs aren't checked.
This is what happens when OGs get smoke blown up their ass the entirety of their prime and ain't never been told that they need to really what's a educated way of saying this? At certain points when those that have had nothing but attention on themselves all their lives, they have to get to a point to where when the attention is not there anymore, you have to really have self-awareness to be able to say, hey, I'm no longer who I think people view me as. So I need to have that regulation within myself to adjust my character to who I actually truly am as opposed to who I think people perceive me to be. And he hasn't done that.
It's time for a rebrand.
I.e., you too old for this.
This generation of OGs need help, bro, because they're making poor choices by saying and doing everything about young women.
Bro, have we had
OGs right now need help?
Have we had a generation of OGs as down bad as these? Think about it. Let's list them off. Shannon Sharp, Slim Thug, Diddy. Think about it. How many of these older, like, let's just contain it to rap. How many of these older OGs are just going for younger women now? Or is that more indicative of something bigger in society to where these older men feel that they need to pursue young women because their lack of emotional but also character maturity, they didn't mature as a person. So that way when they try to interact with women around the same age as them, they do not have the ability to interact with them on the way that you would think that those that are of the same age would be able to. So they have to go for younger because it matches where they are mentally in their maturity.
There it is. I think you just made a point, because did we not talk about in a couple of episodes ago about how there is like older women, they're not dating men their age, i.e. Tracy Ellis Ross. She chose to date a younger man. But we saw how the older male community was in an uproar about Tracy's choice. And I'll take it a step further. It's been like this, and we're seeing it now come to fruition because of social media. They're putting it out there. It wasn't always blatant, or it wasn't always published in public. Maybe they've always been doing this, but now they have social media, they have a following, and dare I say, they're just doing it for the plot. Some of them are. Like,
would it be safe to say that social media made it so that way the barbershop talk has now become more public instead of private? Because these would be the conversations I would hear in the barbershop.
At the barbershop.
These like, of course, by no means, because we are entrenched in the culture. Though the barbershop talk used to stay in the barbershop, but then as I grew up, I understood they genuinely feel that way, and to me, yes, this can be a safe space for us to have these conversations, but you should have some growth from them conversations. The fact that you're creating these echo chambers within these private spaces and then taking whatever you discuss in those private spaces and putting out into the public. I think that's becoming the issue, especially since a lot of these things are just separate echo chambers of each other when you look at it. And that becomes a bigger echo chamber within itself, especially when you push it through the medium of social media at that point, especially when you look at Facebook or you go on Twitter or X, whatever he wants to call it. His mama named him Twitter, so I'm gonna name him Twitter. But it makes no sense when you get into these spaces and you create echo chambers because you're not allowing for ideas that that attack what your central line of logic is to come into the firmament of it. It it just creates more of the same, and it makes no sense to me. But I say that as someone, we both say that as people that are willing to be open to other ideas. Doesn't mean we have to accept it, but I'm willing to hear it. I'm willing to listen to it. And if it's presented in a way that logically makes sense, then yeah, I'm more willing to not just adapt or adopt, but be more accepting towards it to see how I can adapt that into what my current line of thinking is.
I think this goes back to the point that we talked about in the beginning about having that diverse group of friends. Because I think this is a prime example of what happens when you don't have a diverse group of friends in your life. When you're so deep into the echo chamber that you don't know what real life actually sounds like.
Oh, talk to it, brother. Talk to it, because there's
That
so
was
many
a good
people.
one.
That so many people have become so social media brain that they don't know what reality is. And I try to make sure I do my best within my friend groups, especially because I know that majority of the people I interact with on a day-to-day basis outside of work are men. A lot of times, especially if there are younger men that are dealing with being on social media. And I say this as someone who has young nephews that will watch this, especially since they're on social media now, to set that example to understand that if you're interacting with others, you need to also create diversity within who you interact with. Don't be afraid to interact with others just because they don't align with what you readily accept, just because you're limiting your capacity. I love my brother for the fact that he does everything he can for his children, but also he diversifies them by taking them places that you don't traditionally go. Like, yeah, they haven't been to Atlanta, but they've been to Montana. They've been to Louisiana, Arkansas, and all these other places.
That's
and things of that
lovely.
nature, just to experience that there's so much more than what you see within your own zip code. I think studies have shown that the greater majority of Americans do not leave once they graduate high school. They don't leave 15 miles past their home zip code. And if that's the case, that's why Americans as a whole are viewed as so, let's just be honest, they view us as dumb because we don't have world experiences. We don't have real experiences. Honestly, within our own country, how many people have visited more than 10 states? We have 50 states. And if you haven't visited more than 5, you have a limited worldview. I would assume you have a limited worldview just because we have a whole country / continent that you could be exploring, but majority of people don't want to live past their zip code because that's where they're comfortable. And I think that ties back into where we came from with the original Slim Doug topic, that you have people, look at Slim Doug. Yeah, he's been around the world to doing shows and all that, but can you say that he's a worldly person? That man don't know nothing but being a Houston OG.
Yeah.
But that's what he wants to be, though. But that's also that goes into a different topic. That goes into a way different topic. Because I would really love to do a biography on the Houston versus Dallas thing. Because Houston people, I don't know what it is. Their pride in being from Houston way exceeds what the pride we have in being from Dallas. And they make it their whole personality is that I'm from Houston. And I'm just like, bro, I don't care that much.
This is a hot take, but 40%, I would say around that range, is the reason why they're so passionate about Houston is because they get to claim Beyonce.
Even though
I truly believe that. I truly believe like a large portion of your personality being from Houston is because you can say Beyonce's from there.
Yep.
But
I'm being super messy right now. I'm texting some people from Houston, be like, I want you to know the fact that you make being from Houston part of your personality. I judge you for that. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Houston. I love my people from Houston. No one cares that you're from Houston. No one cares. People, I promise you, you're the only one that cares that you're from Houston. You're the only one that cares. And I say that as someone that was recently there. I love Houston. It's a great place to party and all that. Would never live there. But y'all the only ones that care that y'all are from Houston. I promise you. Because y'all are basically Atlanta, but closer to Mexico. I say that because y'all ain't won a championship in football, so do better.
And y'all cheated in baseball.
We didn't have Rangers didn't have to cheat.
See?
That's why y'all lost to Astroworld.
Say that one more time.
That's why y'all lost to Astroworld.
But back on the topic of Slim Thug.
Oh yeah,
I've seen the discourse
before we
online.
do it. I sent it. I sent this to someone. She said, "Rude." Y'all do it too. All right, so now we're back.
We're back. We're back. I saw this. I saw someone say online about Slim Thug. This is what happens when you go from where the hoes at to the nasty OG. This is what happens when you are constantly looking for the hoes.
Because why are you not married? Paul Wall married.
You turn into the nasty OG. That's a fear.
Shannon Sharp.
Every man should fear becoming the nasty OG.
You know what? Fuck that. Let's go ahead and put it out there. If you are a man that was out there gallivanting and you are over the age of 50 and you are not married, that's a red flag. Stephen A, red flag. Diddy, red flag. Shannon Sharp, red flag. Slim Thug, red flag. All these older men that have all the access to all the women in the world, any different type of woman, and you couldn't find. Paul Wall is married, and he's a Houston OG. He's of the same ilk. Let's be honest. He's a bigger artist in Houston than Slim Thug. He's married and had a great life. Why aren't you?
And the problem is they have opinions. They want to put their opinions on our relationships, what we should be doing in our marriages, in our partnerships. My brother in Christ, you still looking for the hoes. You are paying for the hoes, actually. I don't want to be the OG, when I turn 50 and whatnot, and I'm regressive as hell. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be seen in that light where Slim Thug is at. Because there are respectful OGs out here. Let's move on to the next topic. We'll end it off right here. Last episode, we talked about how Superman came out. I watched the movie. It was awesome. It was a wonderful movie. And I can't wait to watch Fantastic Four. That's going to be a good one. I already know it's going to be. But then, I don't know. I was browsing TikTok one day and I just see this video about Batman, and it just made me crack up and laugh about how they're like, Batman is a menace to society. And Exhibit A is when, if you are familiar with the Arkham series,
that one combo, because I know it. It's that square combo. Well, if you're on PlayStation, it's the square combo. If it's the I think it's the BX combo on Xbox. That where you can just instantly punch someone in the face.
If there's any superhero that I do not want to exist, it's Arkham Batman. That version of Batman.
Oh my goodness.
I do not want Arkham Batman to ever exist. Like, what's a superhero would you allow in real life?
Squirrel Girl.
I wouldn't even accept that. I feel like that's a hazard. That's a safety issue.
I feel like we have two different reasons for why we want a Squirrel Girl in the world.
Why do you want a Squirrel Girl in the world?
I'm not allowed to say it on this podcast. Same reason why I want Storm in the real world. Same reason why I want Rogue. Same reason why I want
You don't want Rogue.
Oh
Like,
yes, I do. She can drain me any day.
Message.
But if I had to be realistic of what superhero, it would be Franklin Richards.
Before or after he like goes insane, when he turns into the Maker.
That's not Franklin Richards, is it?
That is Reed Richards. Oh, you said
Franklin. I said Franklin. I was like, Franklin.
You said Franklin.
The Maker
My bad.
is a different.
I was thinking Reed Richards.
The Maker is a different version of Reed. Franklin, I would do that because for the simple fact that it would take a lot of his energy, but he literally could just go and for every person in the world, just create a pocket universe that aligns with whatever they want. He could just create that reality for them and just create what infinite amount of universes for whatever people want. And basically, you and I, we may not be in the same universe, but we may have each other in our own universes. That's basically what he could do. Like, hey, what you view as the world to be, you can go do that in your own pocket universe, and I can create that for you, and we can just have, basically, if you ever existed, you can have your own universe in existence, and it aligns with your line of thinking. We'll create a pocket dimension for you to have that. He can do that.
So pretty much a Dr. Manhattan.
No, Dr. Manhattan is nowhere close to Franklin Richards. He is not on his level by any means. Dr. Manhattan will get dog walked by Franklin Richards any day of the week. Dr. Manhattan doesn't even, I would say, if I'm being a comic book guy, Dr. Manhattan doesn't even come up to half of what Franklin Richards can do.
I'm not as well versed into the comic community like that, so I would love a comic book expert to at least entertain that topic.
A good idea.
Franklin Richards versus Dr. Manhattan.
If you want a good idea of it, go to the Flashpoint story where Dr. Manhattan crossed over with DC. There's a good point because Reverse Flash, Thomas Wayne, Batman, and the Flash, Dr. Manhattan is a great story. That's one of the reasons why I'm a huge DC fan, for the simple fact that they have stories that delve more into the human aspect of things, and it's more realistic, where Marvel can be more grandiose, but I feel like DC is a little bit more grand. I do love Vision Comics, Image Comics a lot more than those because I'm a huge Spawn fan, but I would say definitely look into it. I'll send you the comic story and link, the comics explain link for that one, so that way you can go to that storyline. But yeah, Dr. Manhattan, he's good as far as the Watchmen goes. Franklin Richards is in a different. He made Galactus his herald. Oh, that's spoilers for the MCU. Franklin made Galactus his herald, like that. He literally was fighting the not the Beyonders, the Celestials, multiple Celestials, and said, "To me, my herald Galactus," and rose that man from the grave. I was like, but. Yeah, Franklin Richards is, I don't think people understand. Franklin Richards is that man. He is disgusting. But
see, the fact that you were thinking about, like, I would allow a Franklin Richards to exist in this day and age, and I'm too worried about, like, street level Nightwing.
Nope.
What?
Nope. Because in a world where Nightwing exists, Batman exists. You don't get Nightwing without Batman, sir.
Yeah. Points were made.
And you mean to tell me that if I choose to jaywalk, because I stay right across from a 7-Eleven that doesn't have a crosswalk in front of it. If I choose to jaywalk and Batman gonna come whoop me in the middle of the street to the point to where I have to eat out of a tube. No, I don't want a world with that. Also,
bro, he gonna hit you with like an armbar chokehold and be like, talk.
No, not even that. He finna hit you with the equivalent of a 2019 Camaro with a Batwing on it, run you over, and then hop out and be like, "What were you doing?"
Batman gonna hit you with a DDT and ask you, "Where's the Joker?"
Also, let's be honest. Superheroes in the real world would retire after their first week. Because what you mean to tell me I got to go address this and 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 this all at the same time? When am I supposed to sleep? Especially, we already called Dallas
Lawmakers
Gotham
will
City.
go crazy.
We already called Dallas Gotham City. Batman would have retired if he had to work in Dallas. You know how much crime we got on a day-to-day basis? I just heard gunshots 20 minutes ago. You mean to tell me this man is gonna be ready to come deal with that and then have to go deal with the people in Deep Ellum at 3 a.m.?
Who can survive deep? What's the superhero who can patrol Deep Ellum?
Static Shock.
Okay, I'll allow it. Yeah.
Because all he's going to do, because he can cut off the electricity in your favorite club if y'all acting weird.
Yeah. Can he create electromagnetic fields?
We're gonna have to go into a real topic about that. Adult static shock is almost unbeatable, especially in this world that we've set up these physics and sciences like this. Adult static shock would be damn near invulnerable.
Would he be just as good as Magneto?
I want you to know Magneto would rule this world. Magneto would.
I think Magneto. You know how Magneto, he is a Holocaust survivor, right? And he wants to create a world where mutants can thrive and survive on their own.
I feel like Magneto would be Dirk.
Would Magneto be the type of person to create a separate society for
because he did it in the comics. That's what they wanted. They created their own separate society. I've had a long
not
week.
Just for the mutants, but like would he create a society like for black folks? Like, hey, I know that y'all have been victims of the system, so I have this land just for y'all.
What you're describing is essentially what the comic book writers were assigning it to back then. Mutants are a connection to minorities in a sense. They are needed by society. They're intrinsic parts of society, but they are also parts of society that you cannot deny due to some of their outward appearances, due to what they can do and things of that nature. So when they wanted to create their own society and create their own island where only humans inhabited and create their own systems and all that, Magneto was a part of it. Professor X was a part of it. Cyclops went over the extreme with it to certain extents. It's until he usually dies within certain stories. But yeah, he kind of already did that in some of the comics, and I always alluded that to the idea of minorities because I've always affixed the X-Men storylines with associating with mutants, associating them with minorities at that point.
I guess the point or the question I was really looking or trying to get answered was like, would he treat minority communities like refugees, just like how Wakanda opened up to Black Americans?
So if that's the case, are you saying that if there were minorities that weren't mutants, would he still view it as, yeah, you're a minority?
Would he have a safe space for them? Just like how he created a safe space, like just like how he created Croatia for mutants, would Magneto acknowledge the discrepancies in the country and have something for minority communities as well who are not mutant?
He would. I think that's kind of entrenched in who his character is, especially if you start going into a lot of his own one-offs for his stories. A lot of times that the story is trying to depict his internal conflict that he has within himself a lot, and also how the conflict between what he's seen and what he's experienced as a minority, especially as a Holocaust survivor and as a mutant, also compiles into his overall feelings towards the current state of things and how he chooses to go about things. That's why I've always loved the idea of, Magneto being the vision of, Malcolm X as opposed to Professor X being more of a Martin Luther King. And I do love that dichotomy when they separate it out. I do think that if you are not familiar with the comics and also the history of behind it, you can lose some of that in it. But I do believe, to answer your question, that Magneto would do that, but it would not be easy for him to do that because also you have to remember, he
Because they're still
hates
humans at the end of the day.
non-mutants. Yeah, he
Yeah.
hates non-mutants to a certain extent. But there
So
are stories where
would he
there are
have a space
non-mutants that help him.
so would he have a space for human allies?
Why would he feel the need to, though?
So I guess open up the doors of Wakanda for us then.
But then
didn't Sam Wilson have an issue with that?
Oh, no. It was T'Challa had an issue with Sam Wilson trying to take Black Americans to come to Wakanda, where they allowed it to a certain extent. The assimilation was not easy. That's a different story. That was actually a very good story. It really depends on who's writing Sam Wilson. He's not a character that has had so much history behind him that their character profile is set in stone. Sam Wilson is more so dictated by who's writing him, but I feel like certain Paramount characters, they are the ones that you have to write them that way. And that's why we can go back to the Snyder thing. That's why I think Snyder's Superman didn't resonate as much as this current Superman did, because it went so against what we currently view him as. So if it's a character that's intrinsic to our culture, I think that it's easier to depict them as who they are. But those that are not, they're not too familiar with. Like, most people didn't even know Sam Wilson was going to become Captain America. So those type of characters, I think they're more subjected to whoever is writing them at that point.
Looking back at the current Superman movie versus Man of Steel, they're both decent movies, but which one would I prefer? I would pick James Gunn's Superman over Man of Steel. Man of Steel was dark. It was gloomy, whereas James Gunn's Superman, we got to experience Clark Kent. And he embodies that the blue Boy Scout, the good boy in this type of situation, whereas Man of Steel was depicted as if he is a god on the verge of a mental breakdown. I think that's a fair assessment to point out. Like there's a space for Man of Steel, but that Man of Steel shouldn't be the definition of who Superman is. When James Gunn's Superman wasn't, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, bro, but James Gunn's Superman is inspired by All-Star Superman, where all he just wants to do is just do good things for the community.
Which we had to read. Shout out to SFA, because we had a comic book appreciation class essentially that I took and I loved. All-Star Superman is one of the better depictions of him, and it also more so aligns with who he was coming up in the ages. Like, if you go look at like early cartoon depictions of Superman, it was always being above the expectation of what your human side would give into typically. And I think people fell more so in love with, like you said, the James Gunn side of it, the action, and we just want to see people fighting, which
the Zack Snyder.
It goes into that, which I have very much likened to the sports debate, especially when it comes to 90s basketball versus current, where people are more entertained by the action as opposed to the story. And a lot of what people forget is, when comics were being drawn back then, it wasn't action heavy. It was a lot of story based things. Like, you have to think about what you were looking at. You were looking at stills of people hitting each other. You're looking at stills of action, and you're using your imagination to visualize that. But to a certain extent, because America became dumber over the years, people are like, I'm not trying to do all that. Show me the action, and it devolved into that. Which I think the perfect marriage of it was the Injustice series. If you want that darker story, go watch and read the Injustice series. Go on YouTube and just watch the uncut, like, full cutscenes of all the Injustice games. If you really want to see a dark Superman.
Read Ultraman.
Yeah. Read Ultraman. Like, Ultraman from, was it Earth 2? Yeah, he's what y'all are looking for.
Evil Superman. Yeah.
If y'all want evil Superman, go read the Red Sun version of him, where he basically, instead of landing in Kansas, he landed in Russia. Like, go read all those. Those interpretations are out there. But the overall persona of Superman is the one that's supposed to garner hope in people. I'm not someone that's an artist to the extent that I view them. I have friends that are artists in all different realms. I'm a photographer. I do not view myself as an artistic expression expert. But by some means, the idea of subverting expectation based upon what the original subject subject matter stuff was that you're deriving it off of, if you were just changing it up to the point to where you're just missing the point, what's the point of doing it? Because I want you to know now, Zack Snyder's Justice League was going to be trash. It was going to be trash. It was just going to be, oh wait, we're here for the action. And it would have been just...
It was disaster after disaster.
It was just going to be an action movie. It was not going to be an actual full-fledged understanding of getting to know these characters, because he cannot write that. He is not good at that. He is good at action. He is great at that. I'll give him that. He's actually great at at being a fight choreographer for action scenes. He's great at that. Outside of that, he did not do the DC universe justice. James Gunn is doing a great job so far, especially with his depiction of Mr. Terrific.
That was an amazing scene.
And I'm so glad.
Mr. Terrific was awesome.
I'm so glad his actor finally was redeemed from what they did in that X-Men movie, that atrocious X-Men movie. Like, how you gonna kill Darwin?
Yeah.
You killed him. You killed off the person that can adapt. That's how
I can adapt to anything. Yeah.
That's how I know they didn't. This is me being mad. This is how I know they didn't read the comics. In the times when the world was about to end, they didn't kill him off. Do you know what they did? His power transported him to a different world because the world was going to end. That's how he survived. And you mean to tell me he died from some random being like, here you go, swallow this, see what you can do with... No.
Here you go.
His power transported him to a completely different planet to help him survive. And you mean to tell me that you dumbass writers thought this was a good idea? Fuck Hollywood. Because y'all fucking writers thought that was a good idea. That makes no sense. In the comics, it shows if he cannot survive on the world, or if the world is about to end, guess what? His powers will teleport him to a different inhabitable place for him to live. So you mean to tell me that you had that in front of you? You had that option to take that subject and say, all right, we don't really understand his powers, but there's so many other comic book depictions that it helps us get a better understanding. We're just going to create some bullshit for this villain that y'all killed off in the end that doesn't become an intrinsic part of the whole story. That's my whole issue with the MCU. They've always been about, let's get people in seats, F the story. Don't mess with what we care about. And I say this as someone that loves comics. There's a whole stack of them under Rayquaza right here. That's a whole stack of them that are still unopened. I still got more back there. I love comics because guess what? They are great storytelling. They have been great for also connecting bridges between racial groups, especially in times where we were divided. But no, y'all think y'all know better. I'm sorry. I'm not an English major. He was. He knows how to write stuff. He knows how to write great papers. Tristan writes amazing papers. And he will tell you straight up, you don't have to defile the original source material to get your point across.
Oh, no. Nowadays, I write more articles than papers. That was a flex.
That was a flex. That makes me mad. You do. But also, you're someone that understands I have to have an appreciation for the original subject.
Yeah, and just to speak this character's name into who we're talking about Darwin from X-Men, because his power can adapt to anything in life. And in the movie X-Men First Class, the antagonist showcases powers towards Darwin, and he died when in the beginning of the movie Darwin showcased how his body can adapt to anything to survive. He puts he didn't dip his arm or his head in a tank of water, and he grew gills out of nowhere.
Yeah. The villain in the movie is not even top 30. He's not even top 20. Like, of all the ones that could kill him, you get the one that can't. And you just let it happen for some bullshit. All right, whatever. Like, I know people are gonna say, it's just a movie. You shouldn't care that much about it, but
It means something to me.
it does. Like,
It means something to me.
it makes zero sense to me. Like that. Killed
Well,
off an unkillable person with a random light ball that. What did it do inside of him that his body could not? All right, no, let's just keep moving. Yeah, let's keep moving.
Let's go ahead and wrap things up. I think the overall message, I think one of the overall message in this episode is it's necessary to surround yourself with more than one person. After just talking about Darwin, it is essential that we adapt to everything and evolve. Otherwise, we're going to get BS scenes like that. So adapt, evolve, and surround yourself with good people. Another small victory. This is gonna. We remember how a couple of episodes ago we were talking about how we're gonna hit 50 in our TikTok page as far as followers. We did. We got 50 on our TikTok. I think we have like 60 on our Instagram.
Oh yeah,
we're hitting at least a couple thousand views on some of the posts that we put on our social media pages. So, and people are listening, and I really do appreciate that. We really appreciate that.
Big
So
shout out
it's
to my
lovely.
guy Austin in Nacogdoches. Thank you for. I know you go on long car trips. Thank you for being someone that listens as well. If anyone else wants to go ahead and show some love and be like, hey, just in this picture of you, listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever, and we'll make sure to show you love as well too, because we appreciate it. Just for the fact that you're tuning in and also just wanting to even support. So it means a lot to us.
Most definitely. And you can also get involved in this content by sending us an email, porchlighttheory@gmail.com. Send us an email. What is something that you want us to talk about? What is something that you want us to react to? I want to know what's going on in your mind. After you send us an email, rate, review, and subscribe, man. Because again, once you do that, it helps people like you find this podcast, and we want to keep this train going. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your day, your schedule to listen to episode 5 of the Porch Light Theory. Episode 6 is on the way. Peace.
Yeah, have a good one. Thank y'all for your time.